Hey, Alison Clark here. Welcome to another amazing chat about numbers. I'm excited for this one because I know that I have been seeing a lot of number signs, number messages come up. And for me, I know how to interpret the numbers. So it's exciting because I know in the moment exactly what's going on and exactly how to take the energy from the universe. So I thought I would share that with you guys. Feel free as you're coming on to say hello. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jane. And Sophie, welcome. Hey, Rose. And feel free to share this live as we're going. And if you share it, then comment in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you share this. And if you see any number signs, and I can let you know what they're kind of meaning. Hey, Jess. So, hey, Donna. So for me in particular, I have been seeing a lot of 11, 111, 111, you know, those kind of number sequences or number ideas. And for me, it's like you pick your phone up and, you know, it incidentally lights up. We don't have any clocks or anything like that in our home. So it's only ever my phone that I see that on. Or, you know, you go to the petrol station and you fill the car up and it like ends up on this like 1, 2, 3, 4, or, you know, 144, something like that, or 1, 2, 3, you know, like there doesn't have to be, there's no like one set number sequence that you might see, but you know it when you see it and you're like, that's got some significance there. What does that mean? And I actually got quite a few messages today after I put up that post this morning. So I was like, yeah, cool. This is definitely something we need to talk about. So as I was saying before, feel free to share this while I'm going and let me know in the comments when you've done that and let me know what numbers you see. And then I can give you an idea of, you know, what's kind of happening or what the message is. Generally, like let's just look at, don't worry about what the numbers are. You just see some numbers and you think, oh, this is significant. Take a minute and just see what's happening in that moment. Are you like having a really amazing, in-depth, flowing conversation with someone and you can just feel the vibes and it's like epic, and then you look at your phone and it's like, oh, 111, cool. That's a good sign that you're on the right track there. So I always believe and I always suggest to people that you need to have a look at your energy in that moment. You need to look and see, okay, what am I doing and how do I feel? If you're feeling really in alignment and you feel like you're just bursting with energy and vibes and you're with someone that lifts you up, that's a good sign from the universe that you're on the right path. All right, that's the universe confirming to you, keep doing this thing. This is the way forward. But then on the flip side of that, because we always have duality, if you're in that moment and you're feeling a bit snappy or you're like flat or you feel really heavy or you're around someone that you feel like is drawing things out of you, then it's a sign from the universe you need to change the path. It's a little bit of a wake up call. It's asking you to step away from that and change your direction, change the energy that's around you and to do something. All right, it's always a call for action and it just depends on where you're at or how you're feeling as to what type of action you would need to take. Maybe it's keep doing this thing because I'm already feeling good, or maybe it's I'm not feeling great. This is not good. The universe is telling me to change, because we know with all things in the universe, we get these really subtle little taps on the shoulder, these really quiet little whispers that get louder and louder and louder. And that works both ways. So if you can pick up those signals on that really subtle level, when they're just that quiet whisper or that really gentle tap, then you can progress through whatever's going on quicker. Now, if you're waiting for it to smack you in the face, then quite literally that's what can happen. That's when we have these so-called accidents. That's when there's these catastrophic things in our lives. That's when we really get shaken up by the universe, because we're not listening. We're not listening to the messages. And so the universe really has to bring it in hard. So for me lately, and Jess is saying the same thing, she's been seeing 111 or 11-1, but it's that sequential 3. You see the 3 ones lined up. Now we know that the 1 is like that new beginning. And when we see 2 ones together, we get the 11, and we know that's a gateway. So it's when we see 111 or 11-1, we're looking at a gateway for ourselves, particularly in relation to our emotional expression or the capabilities we have in truly expressing our heart, because we know our emotions sit in our heart. So it's a good sign that you're on the right path in terms of being open to express who you are and open up just on a deeper level all the time. Jess is also seeing 10-10. Now, this is interesting because we can look at the 10 in 2 different ways. We can look at it and reduce it to a single digit where we get the 1, and then we have 2 ones side by side and we get the 11. Or we can look at the 10 as a whole number and we get the Wheel of Fortune, which we know is linked to some karmic debt. So there's 2 layers there with the 10-10. It's definitely a gateway. It's definitely burning through some karma and sowing some new seeds, because we know that once we deal with karma and we wipe that slate clean, then we're in a position where we get to choose what seeds we plant. Because you're seeing so many 11s, Jess, this is like your space where you're really stepping into this spiritual and higher vibrational frequency. And the universe is asking you, what seeds do you want to plant, Jess? What things do you want to harvest in the years to come, or the months, or the weeks, or the days to come? What things are there? You've worked hard, you've cleared that slate, and now it's time for this positive abundance to come through into your life. And you get to be the creator of that. The 1 is the manifester, okay? So whenever we see things happening in our life and we're like, oh, it's just like so flat, or this, is not happening, we are manifesting that. We are creating that. It's our vibrational frequency that attracts those things. So if you don't like what's going on in your life, I would really strongly suggest that you look at changing your vibrational frequency. We know absolutely that we can do that in so many different ways. Please don't ever get focused on just one thing. When I look around my home and I see the tools that I have got a lot of different things at my disposal. We use plants, we use essential oils, we use the foods that we eat, and different foods can take you to different vibrations. Even when we're looking at whole foods, for example, we know that nuts or denser foods in terms of their fat content, they ground us down. So they're kind of bringing our vibration down. And then we can look at things like vegetables and fruit especially will bring our vibration up. It will bring us up from this grounded space. And then we've got crystals and we've got essences and, there's so many things that you can use. And the exciting part about going on this journey is exploring all of those things and seeing and trying and understanding what each one does for you and which ones really resonate and which ones you just would use infrequently. So, Jess, use all of the tools, do all of the things, and I know that you already are, and keep exploring how you're going to raise your vibration and plant these seeds and deciding on what you're going to plant. You're definitely a creative person, so there's an element of you being able to weave that into more of your life on an everyday basis. I'm just going to have a look at Sarah is seeing 133. So the 33, once again, is a master vibration. And so when we talk about master vibrations, it's an up leveling of where we're at. It's both easier and harder all wrapped up in one, because we know that it takes hard work to raise your vibration and get to that point where you're a master. You're teaching, you're not just being, you're actually teaching and sharing with people. But it also takes more work to stay there. And typically the challenges that we face in those vibrations are much more difficult, because there's more at stake, I guess you could say. So the 33, we know, is the master of creativity and expressing one's emotions through that creative space. So for you, Sarah, you've gone beyond that point where you can do that for yourself, and you are now being asked by the universe to step into a space where you teach others and you show and lead the way for them. The one is the leader, the pioneer, that person that's out in front. Sometimes is a lonely path because there's no one else. You are there. You are leading. There's nobody else leading you. So you always need to remember that there's always people following you. You only need to be 1 or 2 steps in front, and you're still the leader. So have a look, Sarah, within you, and keep your eyes open for those opportunities as the universe presents them. If you have people coming to you and asking you for advice, the universe is saying you need to step up. You have got the skills, you've got the talent, you've got that beautiful capability, and you've got the universe at your back, ready and helping you. I'm just having a look. Rose, you're seeing 219. Is that something that you see like every day, or is that just like something that you saw today and you were like, oh, that's interesting. That sounds like, or that seems interesting. That's something I want to keep in mind. Jacqueline, so we're just talking about these different significant numbers that we see in the day. And typically we have a moment and we're like, that's significant. I saw that number. Rose is seeing 219. She knows that has some type of meaning. And we can look at it and say, okay, what are we doing in that moment? How are we aligned? And is the universe giving us an indicator to keep moving towards this way I am? Or is it giving me a little bit of a tap on the shoulder and saying, that's not the way we need to go? So every day you see that one. So it's interesting that you're seeing the 2. The 2 is a partnership. It's always about the other. It's about the relationships that we develop. And then we see the 19, so the 1 and then the 9. And it's like the full spectrum of all of the numbers. Because when we look at our numerology scale, we start at 1, we go up to 9, and then that's a complete cycle. And typically what happens is we move through that cycle probably repeatedly, and then we get to the point where we have mastered that spectrum and we can jump up to these master vibrations. So for me, when I see that 219, it's like the partnership, the relationships that you've got are standing there, and within those relationships, and I'm talking about the close ones that you've got, you're working on moving through this 1 to 9 spectrum. So I think what's happening is that maybe you're getting stuck somewhere in that. I feel like it's your emotional communication. So the way that you communicate your emotions is blocking your relationships from developing further. So we look at that scale as like the depth in which we can take our relationships, and you're getting stuck on the 3. You're getting stuck in this space where you're finding it a little bit difficult to communicate the way you feel. And as a result, that relationship kind of stalls and bottoms out in a way. So have a look at how you can communicate in a way that's true to you, but is also open and steps into that vulnerability space. Because the other always wants to feel needed. And if you're always holding back, then you're not in that space. That's how I would interpret that 219. And a beautiful way, like this was absolutely me a few years ago. I really struggled to express how I felt. And so I just started doing it at home with my kids. And it was just small little things and talking to them how I felt. And it, it helps them to build their emotional intelligence because they can understand then, different types of emotions. I also use my oils a lot in choosing them because I didn't actually know how I felt. So I would close my eyes and I would intuitively choose an oil. I would go and I haven't got it here, it's down on the shelf. I would go and get my emotions and essential oils book and I would read up and say, okay, this way that I'm feeling right now is called this emotion. And then I can talk about that with my kids. Kids are so non-judgmental. And, like my kids were like 2, 3, and 4 when I was doing this. So there was not a lot of back and forwards in the conversation, but it taught me a lot. Sarah's seeing 9 as a single digit a lot. And that's indicative of the vibration that the universe is in at the moment. We are in the 9th month. We had a power day yesterday with the 9th of the 9th. And the 9 is about service and stepping up and showing other people. This is so interesting. I'm just going to point this out to you guys. I've got like a little thing up in the corner of my phone that tells me how many people are watching. When I was talking about the number 11, there was 11 people. I've just started talking about the number 9 and there's 9 people that it's showing me. So there you go. Hooked up to the universe. But the 9 is about service. It's also about endings and letting go. And I know and I can see so much at the moment. There is so much information that is coming out that is freely available to anybody who uses their brain to think and research. And it's very challenging. It is very different to, I guess maybe what you would call mainstream ideas or things that we've previously been led to believe to be true. There is so much of that happening at the moment. The easiest way to deal with this is to have an open mind and to go into everything and take and let go. Let go of the things that you don't align with, let go of the things that aren't serving you, and just keep opening up to more and more and more, and keep consistently letting go and letting go and letting go. That's in everything: relationships, information, ideas, self-limiting beliefs. We can even take it down to the foods and the ways that we treat our bodies. We need to be constantly in this cycle of renewal, which means constantly letting go. We have this capacity, and when we hit that, which matches up with our vibrational frequency, we have to let something go to be able to move up. We have to let something go to let something new come in. So just keep that in mind. April is seeing a lot of 11, 44, and 44. This is something that's been going on for you, April, for months, if I can kind of correctly remember. Now, if you just joined us, don't forget, if you want to share this post and then let me know in the comments and tell me the number frequencies that you are seeing, I'll let you know what that's kind of telling you at the moment. So the 4 is definitely a lot about, control and the box that we are in. And when we see 2 4s together, we're looking at an 8. So it's the power. It's the generation of power through the box or the idea or the foundation you're creating. So when we look also at the 11 as that gateway space and that stepping up into this new realm of possibility, we can see that you're presented constantly with opportunities to change your foundations, to maybe go back and shore up any spaces that are feeling like they're crumbling a little bit or as though they need renewal. Because even the steadiest buildings, with the most solid foundations, need maintenance. Like, we need to go back and check and make sure all those bricks or mortar or whatever is that foundational structure, that it's sound and solid. And if it's not, then we do some work to replace that and keep it solid. It's the same with ourselves. We need to be in a constant state of review. And just because that thing was there and it was a foundational belief or value at some point in time, doesn't mean that's going to sit with us for the rest of our life. If we think that, we're boxed in, we're closed-minded, we're not open to these new opportunities. So April, I would just be aware of that and just be in that constant state of review and refresh. Because every single time you go back and look at that foundation again, it's like very high vibrational energy coming through because you're channeling such intense master energies. The 4 is not an easy number in terms of it's not gentle and soft. It's in your face, it's strong, it's hard, it's fast. When you couple that with the 8 that sits behind the 4 and the 4, it's fiery, it's passionate. Like, it's not gentle. And so I think also it's calling you to embrace that energy as well in what you believe, and not allow other people to push their agendas, ideas, or foundational beliefs onto you because they feel like they know better for you. Josie is seeing 1111 all the time. So we mentioned that before, that the idea that this is a sign from the universe that there's a gateway potential, an opportunity to increase the vibrational frequency at which you're currently at. It's also a sign of increased sensitivity. Most people that I talk to these days are experiencing a very different frequency within our society at the moment. For some people, it's very intimidating. It's very overwhelming. I have my moments where it's really painful and I have to close myself off to it because I don't like to see the suffering. I don't like to feel the suffering. So be aware of that. There's definitely an increased sensitivity to frequency at the moment. And whether you realize it or not, it causes agitation in us because it's stirring things up. It's actually there to get us to help create change. Nobody else is going to create that change. That's up to you. You have to stand up. You have to speak out. You have to use your voice, your frequency, your capabilities to help create that change so that all of us can step up to that next vibrational frequency. And you just imagine if everybody could experience that up leveling of vibration where we're all sitting in that master space, where we can all be teaching each other, where we can all be guiding each other and we're walking that path together. Imagine the growth that we are all going to be experiencing when we're all working in this space of unity instead of duality and separation, where it's like you against me because you've got a different ideas or beliefs than me. Like, I like that. That's spicy. That's interesting. That makes us think more because we're getting challenged more frequently. It's not about us having the same beliefs. It's just about us having respect and love for each other so that we can actually share those beliefs. And it's sad, and I see on a daily basis people getting shut down because they have different beliefs. And for me, I don't feel like that's okay. And I will always stand up and allow anybody to have any type of, opinion, because that's all it is. We've all just got opinions. So I'm going to leave it there. Otherwise, I'll go on a massive rant. But I hope that was a little bit of insight. Keep in mind when you see those numbers, how you're feeling, what's going on, and you will know deep within yourself whether you're on the right path or not, whether the universe is giving you a pat on the back or trying to wake you up with a little bit of maybe a smack in the face. So keep that in mind, and you can use your intuition to understand exactly what's going on. Now, if you do want some more info and you would love to speak with me personally, I will put a link in the comments to for a numerology consultation, and we can do this just about you for a whole hour. Or if you don't have your essential oils yet and you want to start working with those to really, really ramp up the vibrational frequency in your life and to support yourself more with plants, reach out. I'm your gal. I will help you and guide you and make it a most magical journey. So have a wonderful evening. Mwah! Love you guys. Good night.